Website for free at Wix.com. That's WIX.com.
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, you know? I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, you know? Like some editing, transition, something, some music.
Don't worry, we didn't leave you.
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei.
It's time for the second hour of The Voice of Ocala.
Hoo-ah! You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
All right, welcome hour two of the program. Like the man said, it's a Monday, it's raining, it's fall. 2 out of 3 aren't bad. And today on the program, I'm going to give you my take on Silver Springs. And if you're interested in this, I'd like you to listen to me closely because I've had 2.5 years of efforting to help raise the level of somebody say knowledge about Silver Springs by trying to study it as best I could with limited access to people who were in fact making decisions. And I'm not saying it's about my journey or about me, but there's a lesson here to be learned someplace. I'm not going to sit here and say that the decision that was made last week to award the Springs concessions to the people who got it was a bad thing. There's some good things about that. There's a lot we don't know. And today, later, I'm going to talk about what we don't know. And I'm a little bit concerned about the fact information does not flow freely in the process. I've had conversations in the last 2 days with a half a dozen people, some of them very key people in the community. And quite frankly, most people are scratching their heads and wondering what just took place. And we may be all wet. We may be totally wrong. It may work out wonderfully, but there's just so many things that don't add up. So I've given this a little bit of thought. And here in a few minutes, I'm going to give my thoughts on it. Love you to call me if you want to comment on what I say and open to any information you may have. As you know, I have, on this radio program, been openly critical of the way the process has worked and even some of the rumors I'd heard, which turned out to be true. I got texts on the air while I was there from people, including one of the principals, of kind of telling me I was kind of full of it, didn't know what I was talking about, and maybe I don't. But that is the point, is that who does know what they're talking about, and where are they? So I'm going to make a little, I'm not going to make a speech. I'm not going to try to get up on a soapbox. I'm just going to share some thoughts about it here in about 15 minutes and give you my take on where we are now, what we were looking for, what we wanted, what we got. That's how we measure it. So we'll see what takes place after that. Also today, Dr. Buddy will have mostly quips and quotes about it. The doctor has been rather busy lately and not able to take many patients. I guess I'm going to have to say that my shingle is out there. If you have a personal problem, a relationship problem, I think my colleagues here can attest to the fact that we tackle them all and we tackle them head on and we try to give sound advice. And quite frankly, we've probably saved about a dozen marriages. Wouldn't you say, guys?
Oh, without a doubt, a dozen marriages.
And about another dozen relationships.
Countless relationships. I mean,
and probably destroyed about as many. But anyway.
You have convinced 3 women that I was dating to get away from me. So, you know.
I did, huh?
You probably helped them out quite a bit.
Yeah, well, I try to be fair. If that's, if the shoe fits, wear it. What can I say?
There you go.
But anyway, no, in all seriousness, we'll have a few little quips and quotes about Dr. Buddy for relationship things, and then we'll take it from there. In the sports hour, we're going to talk about Florida's new quarterback. I know a lot of people who aren't that upset about it.
I had people actually texting me, did you hear the good news? Driscoll's out for the season. He broke his leg. And I was like, really? You're saying, do you hear the good news? He broke his leg? And I had I had 6 or 7 text messages along those lines.
Well, JJ's Gator fans also made some similar comments, right, JJ?
Correct. They were not upset about it. Let's just say that. It was basically like, don't let the door hit you on the way out with them.
The kid broke his leg
in a
very freak way, by the way.
But you know what? Having said that, we have to set that aside for a moment. And I really feel bad for Jeff Driscoll, who's a good kid as far as I know. But we set aside to say, tell the truth. what directions were things going in, and would they have to make a change anyway at some point? That's the big question. And I think that's a question, that's the elephant in the room. But anyway.
Just look how the game changed when he, left.
No question about it.
That first quarter was the most unwatchable game of football I've ever seen in my life.
I've never seen so many people in the press box shaking their head walking around saying, buddy, have you ever seen anything like this before? And I said, well, a little bit like when Doug Dickey coached there, but otherwise, not the eight turnovers in the first half.
Not that Buddy, dislikes Doug Dickey's abilities as a coach while he was at Florida or anything.
I don't dislike Doug personally. He had a boring offense. Okay, now this offense is a cut above that, but not so far not all that much. And defensively, they are terrific. But when you make all those turnovers, it's kind of hard for the defense to keep saving you. So, anyway, we'll talk about that in Sports Hour, and we'll weigh in on that. And talk. It's going to be a good card this weekend, fellas. Got some good ball games coming up. Let's talk about in sports. And baseball season is still winding down. We'll talk about the cupcake games, how they're killing football. They're absolutely killing. JJ, do me a favor, if you will. Go during the time this hour. Go back and look at the what we used to call 1AA games. The
FCS, buddy.
FCFBCS.
No. The FCS.
FBS, CSB.
FCS is 1AA.
On CBS. So that's what I'm looking for. Anyway, JJ and I had this conversation Saturday. He taught me how to remember it. The bowls are the big schools.
Yes.
FBS. So that's how he told me to remember that. But anyway, the number of FCS schools that played high-profile teams, and the resounding, I want you to add the points up, JJ, total points, and just tell me, I'll bet you it was over.
We'll just do the top 25.
300 to nothing. That's incredible.
Nah, Bethune-Cookman scored 7.
Yeah, right. So anyway, add that up, do the math on that, and we'll give you our take that during the Sports Hour and why I hate these cupcake games. They're coming back to kill college football. They better do something about it. So we'll get also the seeds of revolt. We've talked about it on the show a lot. I've written stories about it. I've mentioned it on the air a bunch. I've talked to guys in the media about it. The fact that the players are going to respond to this because the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the money issue is only part of it. Well, guess what? It happened. The predicted reaction and revolt, if you want to call it that, let's say dissension because it's not a revolt yet. Dissension is occurred. Some players at big schools made a demonstration over the weekend. And you know what? It's not the last of you're going to hear about it. You're going to hear a lot more, and who knows where it may lead. So, having said that, you know what I hate most about this time of year?
What?
I do my taxes then.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's fall. You wait for football all year. It's a beautiful time of the year. It's really a great time in Ocala. Me, I have some reason have to do my taxes every year at this time.
You know what?
And it hangs over my head like an albatross for days. And I'm one of these guys who has to get records and, go back and look up all these, get these bank accounts and get these checks and get these bills and get all this interest. And I have paid somebody to do my taxes.
Well, for the little bit of money that we made this year, though, it shouldn't take very long.
Yeah, you'd think so. Somehow it's not just no direct relationship to that. So anyway, it gives me a headache, and if I'm a little grouchy, that's why. We'll take a break. Dr. Buddy will be in the house next right here on the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower,
PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976. This is Marion County Sheriff Chris Blair's answer to a question posed by Buddy Martin.
If I had to rank top 3 types of crimes that you're dealt with, but after drugs, what are the other 2 or 3 that you guys would say take up most of your resources and your time?
Well, number one, certainly drugs is what's leading all crime. With the exception of homicide, where you may have a domestic violence type case and the husband kills the wife or vice versa. The ones that take time are the burglaries, the thefts, the auto burglaries.
That reprise of Ask the Cops was proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976. Be sure to tune in to Ask the Cops the 2nd and 4th Friday of every month during the 4 o'clock hour on the Voice of Ocala.
Dr. Seaborn Hunt, a board-certified ophthalmologist in Ocala, offers advanced cataract surgery with laser astigmatism correction to reduce and potentially eliminate your dependence on glasses for both distance and near vision and some areas in between. If you have cataracts or need a second opinion to discuss your lens implant options and determine if you're a candidate for precision multifocal lens implant, call Dr. Hunt's office to set up an appointment to see if you qualify for the upgraded lens. Call Dr. Seaborn Hunt's office today for an appointment. 873-7200. That's 873-7200.
WOCA, Ocala.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and low rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is once again that time of year to vote for Ocala Magazine's Best of the Best. Each year, you have the power to go online and vote for your favorite chef, restaurant, hotel, and of course, your favorite radio show. So go online to OcalaMagazine.com and vote for Larry and Robin in the morning on WOCA, The Source.
Jacob, you forgot the voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin.
Ah, yes, of course. Then also vote for the voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin.
No, Jacob, they can't vote for both.
Well, that does present a problem. How do they decide?
I don't really care, just as long as they vote.
Are you always like this?
Like what?
So charming and friendly.
Oh, then yes, I am. Now wrap it up already.
Okay then, to recap, go to OcalaMagazine.com and vote for anyone you want, as long as it's Larry and Robin in the morning or the voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin on WOCA, The Source. How's that?
It'll do.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
WOCA, keeping you in touch with Ocala.
This is Tom Schmitz live in the WOCA studios with this news break brought to you by Gateway Bank. According to Ocala.com, despite a multi-vehicle pileup, a diesel leak, nearly 1,000 empty honeybee boxes scattered across 3 southbound lanes of Interstate 75, and a car crushed by a tractor-trailer Sunday, all the drivers involved escaped with no injuries, and because of the circumstances, the Florida Highway Patrol said it was weather-related, so no citations were issued. Wow, nobody injured, no citations issued. This news break was brought to you by Gateway Bank, your new old-fashioned bank. Join Buddy every Friday for Community Gazette Day at Gateway Bank.
And don't you know that it's just you and you do. The movement you need is on your
Well, listen to the Beatles.
You think JJ's trying to send a message to Carrie Underwood?
Yeah, no, actually, last night they had a really good segment on television, and I forgot who I guess it was who did the segment. Oh, what's the guy's name? I'm drawing a blank on this thing right now. He's
what channel?
Don Cheadle, I think it was.
Right.
Did the segment talking about what a crisis we went through in our country in '63.
Right.
With Kennedy
getting shot,
and then the Martin Luther King assassination later after that, and all of what happened
right after that. Martin Luther King got killed in '68.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the point was that he pointed out that the joy the Beatles brought brought after the assassination of Kennedy and the period of time that lapsed between the time that the Beatles went on Ed Sullivan in the Ed Sullivan Theater and the Ed Sullivan Show, and how it rocked the world.
Right.
And it's like 70 million people saw him, and it hit me then. It was a time when America needed something to be joyful about, It was a sad time in our country.
Kennedy had just gotten shot.
It was a terrible time in our country. We were going through the war. We had Kennedy. We had Bay of Pigs crisis. Kennedy was killed. And people were very sad. And here the Beatles came along. And they were so young and fresh and exciting. And the music was great. And they played the part of the performance. They played it on the Ed Sullivan Show. And just reminded me that those little things and moments in history when you have those intersections, when certain things, when people emerge that lift the mood of an entire country or do something to help your mood or change things, it really is significant in history.
Were you and Miss Joni one of the 70 million that tuned in, buddy?
We were. And so was even Laurie. She was about 2 years old.
Right. I mean, that was one of those things where entertainment transcended just the entertainment industry, where it was significant to this country.
You got to remember that the Ed Sullivan Show had, by the way, Ed Sullivan, who was a columnist at the Daily News, by the way,
right? Yeah,
and was a horrible host. He couldn't get anything right.
Never got people's names right.
This goes to show you, like me, I'm a lousy host, but I get a good guess. That's all that matters. See, that's why we draw 70 million on our broadcast.
He mispronounces names and everything.
Me too. But the point is that Ed Sullivan was. That was where you got your culture to some degree. I remember one night when a guy came to our front door and said to my mother, "I want to talk to you." She said, "About what?" She said, "About what you're doing right there, watching TV. I'm from the Nielsen's." Whatever group they had during those days. Right. I'm not sure what it was. I think it was Nielsen's. And, and that Sunday night was the big time to watch TV. And Ed Sullivan, that was a huge show.
Well, the thing was, Ed Sullivan, people forget, but when you go back and watch old Ed Sullivan shows, he broke the Beatles, and he had the Stones on, he had Elvis. The Who on, he had Elvis on, but he also had Joe Schmo, the unicycle rider, and Billy Bob, the pinball the bowling pin juggler.
Something. It's like a little carnival, but you kind of hated, you didn't want to miss it, and so it was kind of and remember, television was just coming into its own. The whole thing with we saw the first film from Vietnam in those days, which we never saw before. We saw so many live. We saw the shooting of Jack Ruby live on TV when he shot the assassin
Lee Harvey
Oswald live right there. And television became like I was saying last night. It was such an incredible medium. Now it's coming of age again in a different way with some of the programming and some of the people who are appearing on these shows, which are, it's the new theater. It really is. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Let's go ahead and do a quick Dr. Buddy. I was going to talk about relationships, but I don't think so today. I got this other stuff to talk about. So just give you a couple little tips there, little things to sort of brush up on your relationship. It's important. Guys, as we hear, are very white. What is the most attractive thing about a woman, other than their physical traits? What is it, personality, or what is the one thing about a person, a woman that attracts you?
You have to be able to take sarcasm and humor.
So you're saying humor?
You gotta have thick skin.
So you say you have to, or they have to?
They have to.
They have to have shit. Because that's what you admire in a woman. You like women who can take a shot, huh?
Exactly.
All right. What?
I have to have a woman that can hold a substantial, semi-intelligent conversation for more than about a minute and a half.
Well, you have a friend she talks to, or what?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Tom, you're a very smart guy. Yeah, you are. I heard people say that, by the way, from time to time. I
got everybody fooled.
Oh, boy, you do.
Got everybody fooled.
You do. And it's, for me, one of the coolest, like a lot of people say of men, they think men with confidence. Really, to women say they love that about men. Other times they'll say men who are not cocky and are humble are his attractive quality. For me, and I love this about my wife too, is I love a woman when she laughs. A woman who laughs and really enjoys. It's just something about lighting up their mood, and someone who's not taking himself too seriously, who has a little humor in life. I think that's an attractive quality. And I read this quote from Napoleon Bonaparte, of all people. Listen to this. A woman laughing is a woman conquered. How about that quote? A woman laughing is a woman conquered.
I don't think he's going to get many of the feminists vote in France.
No, but you get his point. If you make them laugh, then you have a good chance of, having a relationship. Couple other things. Here's a little. You guys, I know you both date occasionally. Not Tom, not so much, but he's here and there.
We do not date each other, buddy. What do you say?
Who? You guys don't date each other? I thought you and JJ were going steady.
Well, not in this state.
Okay. Well, anyway, you both are in the dating process, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm all over the place. I don't know
but
what
so
I got
you're
going
dating.
on.
You're dating. You're looking.
I'm struggling.
You're watching ladies come by here, and you're making comments on them. By the way.
Whoa.
No, actually, you did. You make a very good comment earlier about some of the odd couples that come by.
Yes.
You're right. You see some strange couples coming by. But what I want to say is the stat that blew me away today. More than 50% of American singles claim they have not had a date in over 2 years. Hey, Match.com, what's going on? Huh?
You got to pay for that.
2
buddy.
years, man.
That's sad.
Now think about that. 2 years?
You can't
Come
go
on
out
now.
And find some lowlife to take you out.
You
to
need
eat?
Dr. Buddy if that's the trouble. I'm thinking about Dr. Buddy should be like a maybe dating service. I don't know.
It can't. The women that say that are foolish. Because you could just walk out on the side of the road, really, and find a guy to take you out somewhere to eat. Guys that haven't been on a date in a couple years, they probably got some issues, buddy. But girls, 2 years, I don't buy that.
There's somebody out there.
There's somebody for everybody, buddy. Just look at some of these people that we see.
I agree with you,
here, man.
I agree with you. Okay, another thing about a relationship. You need to get your opinion of your partner before you do something stupid. You ought to ask for input. Don't make arbitrary decisions that involve the other person.
No, you should. That's a big no-no.
That's a big no-no.
Hey, guess what I just did? I just bought a 5-day, 4-night cruise for both of us.
And I said, well, I hope you got somebody to go with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, I get seasick if you'd have asked me.
Here's a quote from Cindy Woodsmall, whoever she is. She says, in any serious relationship, if you don't gather your partner's opinion before making a decision that impacts you both, you're just storing up trouble for the future.
Right.
Can I get an amen for that?
Amen.
Well, I had a very significant other. first wife, who, joined the United States Army without discussing it with me.
That's a big one.
She really wanted to bounce from that relationship.
I believe she did. All right, here's something from a little quote I thought. JJ, you're a Shakespeare fan, right?
Of course.
This comes from someone named Raquel Cepeda.
Who sounds like a character in a Shakespeare play.
Bird of Paradise, How I Became Latinas. That's where it's from. Shakespeare had it right all along. Love will kill you in the end.
Exactly.
And finally, we'll end Dr. Buddy on this note. I like this thought. I'm not even sure who said it, but I thought it was cool. Listen up, ladies. A boy will tell you he loves you. A man will show you.
So many ways that I can love.
Okay.
Dr. Buddy, profound today, JJ.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, short and sweet today. By the way, I've got to get to this a little bit right now because I'm going to go ahead and say a couple things about it. And I'll give you the full, after we come back from break, I'll give you my full thoughts. Silver Springs. You guys know I've talked about it a lot. I care about it a lot. And I'm cheering on one hand the progress we've made. I'm a little bit saddened on the other by the fact that there's been almost no dialogue about it. I don't know why or why it's been covered up. I don't know why we have. I mean, the state will tell you, we had meetings, we did this. I don't know. Is it me? Nobody I talked to really knew much about anything. I mean, and I know some people who were plugged into our community who were quite well informed and had the same problem. So I want to go over the checklist of things that we look for. And then I'll tell you about how we did on them. And I'll talk about the new proprietor and the person who operates the concessions, who was nice enough to tweet me at one point in time and tell me that he would get back to me, but he felt good about the future of things. Here's the things. We wanted to, number one, clean up the pollution. Number two, find a new tenant. Number three, tear down the walls. Remember, guys, I said tear down those walls, Mr. Khrushchev. And number 4, find local people for the concessions so we can have jobs in our community. Those are the things that we wanted to do. Have we done on that? Well, I'll tell you. I'll make my comments on the news about the person who's operating this new company, which will govern in what happens at Silver Springs. These people, I should say. Give you my thoughts on that next. Stay tuned to the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Having the motivation and making the commitment to quit smoking is a great first step towards becoming smoke-free. However, anyone who's tried to quit smoking knows how challenging it can be. Having the determination to quit may not be enough. You may need some help. If you're ready to quit smoking and are between the ages of 18 and 75, currently smoke 10 or more cigarettes a day, and can commit to participating for 24 weeks, you may be interested in a research study which is being conducted to evaluate the use of investigational drugs to see if they can aid individuals in their quest to quit smoking. To help you quit, smoking cessation counseling and all study-related medical care will be provided at no extra cost. You may also be reimbursed for your travel time. To receive more information about this study, how you can participate, please call Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala at 352-629-5800. That's Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala, 352-629-5800. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent.